Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So what is the process of sadhana? We discussed 2 shlokas yesterday in which he said, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayana. And he promises in this shloka, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Satyam, it is true. Pratijane, I made a pratigya. I promise you that you will come to me. And one more, 12.8, I have mentioned it here. Mayyeva mana adhatsva. Mayi buddhim niveshaya. Nivasishyasi mayyeva. Ata urdhvam na samshayaha. Again repeating the same idea. Mayyeva mana adhatsva. Deposit your mind in me. Maya buddhim niveshaya. Your buddhi also. Let it enter into me. Manas and buddhi, all of you know about the Vedantic position. Vedanta says, manas is sankalpa vikalpatmikam manas. Manaha. Sankalpa and vikalpa. You have a thought, you have a counter thought. In the Hegelian dynamics of oscillation between theses and antitheses, the dialectical process as they call it, technically, you have a thought, you have a counter thought. You just try to decide something, but there's a counter decision. The oscillation between theses and antitheses, between one thought and a counter thought, is what the manas always does. Manas vacillates, manas moves from different positions, and therefore it can never come to a conclusion. What decides is called the buddhi, and the awakened buddhi is called a dhi in the Gayatri Mantra. It's called prajna in the Yoga Shastras. Ritambhara prajna is the word used by Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras. Ritambhara. Ritam is a beautiful word for satyam, truth. Ritam, satyam, these are constantly used in the Upanishads and the Vedas. Ritam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami, etc. And Swami Vivekananda uses the word ritam in his famous poem, Om Hrim Ritam Tvamachalo. Swami Bhajanananda ji, who is a revered vice president, is very fond of explaining this particular word ritam in respect of Sri Ramakrishna. Who is Sri Ramakrishna? He is Om, Harim and Ritam. Ritam is a cosmic order in the cosmic sense. And the Kathopanishad and the Mahanarayana Upanishad, they talk about Ritam Brihat. Huge Ritam. Brihat means huge, vast, infinite. The entire world, the universe is being run by some mysterious laws. This is called Brihad Ritam, cosmic order. And the sun and the moon and the planets and all of them are being controlled and regulated by a cosmic law which every scientist has to accept. So in a sense, scientists are more spiritual than spiritual people because they swear by these laws. You just can't move an inch away from any of these laws. The Upanishad dramatically says because the terrible fear of the Supreme Being, all the suns and the moons and the stars are moving exactly in their orbits. Mahadbhayam vajramudyatam yayetad viduramritaste bhavanti. It's Mahadbhayam, not ordinary bhaya. It's a terrible fear of the Supreme Being. All of them are moving. Bhayadasyat agnistapati, bhayattapati, suryaha, bhayad indrasya vayusya, mrityur dhavati panchamaha. These are the mantras in the Kathopanishad. And the Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhishasmad Vatah Pavate, Bhisho Dedi Suryaha, etc. Bhisha and Bhaya are the same thing. It means a rigid cosmic order which regulates the entire universe. This is the rhythm. The same rhythm applied to individual lives is called Satyam. Shankara interprets this in the Rhythm Vadishyami, Satyam Vadishyami. He says, Rhythm is what you believe in, what you do, and Satyam is what you actually express. You speak the truth. Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, the famous instruction of the Guru, Acharya, at the time of the convocation ceremony to the disciples. You practice truth, speak the truth, live the truth, act upon truth. Manovakaya, as they say, the mind mentally, orally, and physically express truths in everyday life. Sri Ramakrishna famously said, in Kali Yuga, the only tapasya is truth. Kalite Shoti Ekmatra Tapasya. And he practiced Satya to such an extent, it is impossible for most of us or any of us. But he said, I have shown you 16 annas, you practice just one anna. So just a little of what he practiced, if he practiced, is more than enough for us. So Satyam and Ritam are two great concepts repeatedly made in the Upanishad. And Swami Vivekananda called Sri Ramakrishna as the Rita Swarupa, Ritam, Om Hrim Ritam. Om is the Supreme Brahman, both Saguna and Nirguna. You should remember, in the Upanishads, they don't make any distinction between the Saguna and Nirguna. They don't use the word Nirguna except in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad once. Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha. Shankara is very fond of this line. In general, they speak of Murta and Amurta. The famous passages in the Chandaka Upanishad, Murtancha, Murtancha. Murta and Amurta, that which is with form, that is without form, that without attributes and with attributes, Saguna and Nirguna, are considered equivalent or one and the same. Sri Ramakrishna's famous example is well known. Such a simple analogy he gives. The waters in the ocean, they have no form per se. They take the form of the vessel in which they are poured. That's the quality of water, any liquid. And in some places, because the intensest cold, they freeze into ice, they have a form. And when the sun of knowledge arises, once again they lose their forms. So the ice and water are the same substance. Nobody will say that ice and water are two different things. They are the two different phases. PHASE, not FASE, FACE. Two different phases of the same phenomenon. As any scientist or physicist will know, it exists in three phases: liquid, solid, and gas. These are the three states of matter. And the fourth status is plasma, which is perhaps the Vijnana, who knows. So these are different phases, different states of the same substance. It can be with form, it can be without form. It can be both with form and without form. And many things more besides. Sri Ramakrishna also gives the example of a person, a sadhu went to Puri, Jagannath. He was wondering whether this Jagannath is with form or without form. Many of these deities, particularly the Amurta deities in Kamakshi, in Sri Kanchipuram, it's a kind of a peculiar stone-like image. It says no form but appears to have a form. Even Shiva is not worshipped in form, only in Shivalinga. The idea is that Shiva is without form, is beyond form, but you have to conceive him in some kind of form. So I give the Shivalinga. And many of the Swayambhu Lingas, those who have seen Swayambhu, it is not just nothing, it is a kind of a rock kind of structure. Even you can see in Bhuvaneshwar, etc. It's a kind of rock kind of structure. They believe it has spontaneously emanated from the earth, Swayambhu. You should remember all these great Tirthasthanas have come into being, not because of Swayambhu and it has come up, etc. Some stories are built up, because of the intensest tapasya of several, perhaps thousands of illumined souls. Dakshineshwar in Calcutta was not a great Tirthasthana 200 years ago. It is very busy, extremely cosmopolitan Bhogabhumi of the British in Calcutta. It was converted into Tirthasthana by Sri Ramakrishna's tapasya. So the Bhagavatam says, Tirthi kuruvanti tirthani. Tirthas are made into tirthas by people of realization. Tirthi kuruvanti, called Chvi Pratyaya Vyakarana, Abhuta Tadbhave Chvi. That's the sutra of Panini. That which was not earlier, which has been made now, is called Abhuta Tadbhava, Bhasmi Bhuta. That which was not Bhasma earlier, but has become Bhasma later, is called Bhasmi Bhuta. Tirthi Kurubanti means Tirthi Karana. That which was not Tirtha earlier has been converted into a Tirtha by the tapasya of great souls. They made up some stories later on to attract people who cannot understand higher truths as yet. With great faith they come. So all these places, hundreds of thousands of sannyasins, householders, tapasvis have been meeting tapasya. Even now, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, in the valley, in the Arunachala hill, hundreds of Siddha Mahapurushas are engaged in tapasya. So that valley is not accessible. Nobody can access it. Ramana Maharshi once tried to go inside the valley. He was stung by hundreds of wasps so severely that he had to retreat. An old woman, maybe Mahamaya herself, says, Kattala poravana, yenga vandani. In Tamil they say, are you inviting death? You'll be cremated tomorrow. Don't come this way. Ramana Maharshi believes that is Mahamaya herself coming and warning him. You should not intrude in the tapasya of people. Unfortunately now, because of the tourists and the mobile phones, everybody is intruding into everybody's space. So the great tapasvis used to run away to Himalayas and the interior guhas. Even in the West, if you go to the La Vanne in Italy, the tapasya of St. Francis of Assisi, even now it is so inaccessible, it's full of jungle. There inside a cave, he was in samadhi, he got the stigmata, as you know, constantly meditating on Christ. He got all the symptoms of Christ, blood oozed out from his hands, from his head, and so on. How could he access that place? Hundreds of thousands of such people, believe me, have been doing tapasya in India, are doing tapasya, will be doing tapasya. The Tapobhumi, particularly the Uttarakhand, the greatest Tapobhumi we believe. One reason could be the climate. Doing tapasya in Calcutta is so difficult. Mosquitoes and the climate and the variation of temperature. The coolest place, the calmest place. They chose this place. Even this silence was not sufficient for them. They went still farther up in the caves. The Mayavati in the original days, Swami Swarupananda, disciple of Swami Vivekananda, found the peace of Mayavati, the calmness of Mayavati not sufficient for him. So he went still farther up. There's a place called the Swarupananda Point. Tigers and bears used to visit him. So what I'm saying is, hundreds of such people have been there, renouncing everything, only to inquire into something which is higher. Those people are still there, They are blessing all the sadhakas. Believe this. Anybody in the spiritual path, you get the blessings of these rishis, the blessings of these great men. Yoga Sahaya, about Ramakrishna, in the Khandana Bhavavandana Stotra, Swamiji says Yoga Sahaya. He helps in the path of yoga. Anybody who is striving in the path of yoga everywhere. The entire Bharata Bhumi has been surcharged with the spiritual power of these great men who have been meditating, completely absorbed. They don't need anything else. And there are stories about people who didn't want to be disturbed by anybody. So they used to put some bones and some skeletons in front of their cave so that people would be scared away. In spite of that, if somebody dared, they used to throw stones. Maybe stories. Because they just don't want to be disturbed. If you climb the spiritual path and get some kind of awakening, you just can't bear the company of people who are worldly. Sri Ramakrishna's story is well known. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's story. He was in ecstasy, he was singing and dancing, getting repeated samadhis. There's one person whom he designated as Jeev. Jeev means a person of worldly temperament. Simply that person was removed from that place. He just couldn't bear the vibration. So he always tells Ramakrishna, you can't bear my vibration, I know. But out of compassion, he bears with all of us. What a sacrifice it is for these great men to come down to our plane and live with us, we can't really imagine. Sharada Devi, Holy Mother, said about Sharat Maharaj, Swami Saradananda Ji, warning the other disciples and other devotees, see, you do not know what great Mahapurushas these are. They have come down to your state so that you may be blessed. They can get absorbed in samadhi and live days upon days. They are compassionate, but don't think they are ordinary people. None of the direct disciples were. Swamiji was always in samadhi most of the time. Sri Ramakrishna's main task, as I told you repeatedly, was to watch over Naren so that he does not get into the higher moods of samadhi. That was a sacrifice. The kind of sacrifice which we do to come to this place with great difficulty, live in luxury, because we need some comfort. We can't. We can't bear with this kind of austerity. So the incarnation of God, particularly Holy Mother, cried. Tears flowed down her cheeks. Aha, my children are begging for little food, going around austerity. Oh, Thakur, prepare some place where they can comfortably live. And Swami Vivekananda told Turiyananda, Hari Bhai, it a nutan path avishkar korlum. I have discovered a new path. In the olden days, they thought they will do austerities in the Himalayas and do meditation and realize God. I have now shown just by working for God, they will realize the highest. And they can't bear so much of austerity. He also regretted. We have spoiled our health by too much of austerity, too much of tapasya, that the children who come later, who are they? All of us. Let them live in some kind of a comfort, serve the society in the spirit of service of the divine, and live a pure life and engage in austerities. So that is the purpose. Tirthi kuruvanti tirthani. All these tirthas have been blessed by the great men. Even now they are alive. Even now we believe they are doing tapasya. Otherwise, Bharata Bhumi even now cannot be attracting hundreds of people from everywhere. In Ramanashram long, long ago when I went once, so many foreigners come there, particularly from USA, Europe. So terribly hot. You can't imagine the heat, southern part of India. Swami Madhavananda Ji, our illustrious president, who was the general secretary for several decades, it seems he used to say very funnily, southern part of India has 3 seasons. Hot, hotter, hottest. And Tiruvannamalai particularly is a hilly area. It's sizzling heat, 48 degrees, 50 degrees temperature Celsius. They can't bear the heat. Just they can't digest the food which is served there. They can't sit on the floor with great difficulty they used to sit. But Ramanama, even when he was alive, people came, Paul Brandon, for example, and they found it very difficult to sit. And the administrators of the ashrama said, people should not stretch legs before Bhagavan. They made them, you don't stretch your leg. Ramana Maharshi himself could not sit without stretching the legs. There's a big story. He lived in Samadhi for 11 months because the archons were troubling him so much, he jumped into an abandoned well and got into Samadhi. 11 months, they say. There is a Seshadri Swamigal. He was also a great saint. So when the boys are coming there, you fools, go and search in that well. A Mahapurusha is lying there. Went and saw nobody. It was so dark. Then they brought the lantern and saw one human figure is lying there. They slowly brought him up. And the entire legs, the portion below, from the waist up to the legs, were completely eaten away by white ants. He was in Samadhi. See, he was brought up slowly, he was cured. Even then, even later on also, his legs were so weak, he used to walk very carefully, and he couldn't fold his legs. Many of us can't when you become old. Then, when this rule was imposed on the Western devotees, Ramana Maharshi also in the sofa, he also folded like this with great... No, it is not for you. He said, it seems a new rule has been imposed. I also should follow it. Then I asked one of them, they were all moving around, what brings you here? So much of difficulty, such terrible heat, and you can't adjust with the food. Then they said, you see, we have everything in the Western country, but we don't have Jivan Muktas. We want to see Jivan Muktas. I was so touched with the sincerity of these people. They want to see people who have seen God, who have lived with God, who talked to God, who are immersed in godliness. We don't want anything else. We don't have Jivan Muktas in our country. Swamiji said, alas, in your country with so much of luxury, there are no ashramas. I have come to create ashramas in your country. So the great men create this atmosphere. And the Avatara-Purushas, of course, you know, wherever they go, they create the atmosphere. What is the purpose of Ramachandra going to the forest? So many stories are given. But the spiritual significance of Ramachandra going to the forest is hundreds of sages, thousands of them perhaps, had attained a very high state of consciousness. Just the last step they were missing. They had to be given the last push so that they get absorbed in God. So God himself, in the form of Ramachandra, was moving from place to place to encounter their rishis and giving the last push and liberate them. So when God comes as man, as a human being, then he looks for the jivas rather than the jivas looking for him. This is a very important thing we have to remember. I told you yesterday, his love for you is far superior and infinitely greater than the love we can have for him, the little love we can have for him. He runs behind you so that you can be elevated, you can be liberated. Just a little effort. All that he says is just a little effort. Sri Ramakrishna says beautifully, if you take one step, he takes 100 steps, 10 steps. He's just waiting to pull you up. Only you have to do a little. And we being the clever guys say, that step also, why don't you make me do it? We are so lazy, we will not do that also. But why does he want to push you to that one step? Because if he gives you free easily, you will not understand the value of it. Some struggle, just a little struggle. Everything is provided, the best of food, the best of rooms and the best of facilities. Just think of me. And the incarnations of Sri Chaitanya used to say, they were beaten by Jagai Madhai, these ruffians and the drunkards, you know the stories, how he converted them. Then continuously being beaten, blood is oozing out. He says, Hikto Harinam Karo, please call on God. Swami Brahmananda said, I beg you, I fall at your feet, please think of God a little. Infinite will be your reward. If nothing happens to you, come and slap me in my face. Infinite will be your reward. Just think of him. Particularly when the incarnation comes, these are very auspicious times. The wind of grace is blowing. Just unfurl your sails a little so that you will be able to move. We have fallen in the current of Ganges. Whether we have fallen ourselves, whether somebody has pushed us, we don't know. It's called Srota Apanna. Srota is the stream. Apanna means we have reached the stream. All of us, willy-nilly, in spite of ourselves, or through some samskaras, we have fallen into the stream of the Ganges. Ganges will take you whether you like it or not. And if you swim faster along the current, you can reach faster. Even if you swim against the current, you can't escape the power of the current. It shall take you. So this is the promise. Manmana bhava madhabhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Manmana bhava madhabhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Repeated twice. Mame veshyasi satyam te pritijane priyosi me. You will come to me. This is my promise. Lord promises, it can't be otherwise. He gives you promises. When Ramachandra came as an incarnation, the story in the Ramayana, Vibhishana wanted to come and surrender to Sri Ramachandra because he could not convince his brother. Repeatedly told him, don't do this. And Ravana was full of pride and arrogance at that time. He was a great sadhaka, I should remember. When he died, Ramachandra told him, as a great Shiva Bhakta, here, O Lakshmana, cremate him with all honors. Then Rama told him, ask him for a last advice. The famous statement, he said, Shubhasya shighram ashubhasya kalaharanam. This is my advice to you. When some good thought comes to you, let me go for a retreat, let me go for a japa, let me go for meditation, let me just get it quietly. At that time, I have an urgent call to make. Let it wait for some time. So don't miss this opportunity. When the mind will try to get into a mode of elevation, you never know. And during the mode of meditation, when suddenly some flash of illumination will come to you, you never know. These just come. Jhatiti pratyaya, in the Vedanta says, suddenly it comes to you, at a flash. We say it suddenly comes in a flash. How much of tears and toil and sweat it has gone through. It's Churchill's famous words. Blood, toil, tears and sweat has gone into this. When he was made the Prime Minister of the UK by the King of England, the first speech he gave, I have nothing to offer to United England except tears, blood, toil, tears and sweat. How much has gone through in this life, previous lives, we don't know. That moment you should catch. Never miss that moment. Don't think we'll postpone it. Ravana said, when a Shubha Muhurta comes, when an auspicious thought comes to you, immediately grasp it. Sometimes I thought, Ramachandra, I knew he was the incarnation of God. I will take refuge in him. I postponed it. Now let me wait for some more time. When Ashubha Chinta came to me, inauspicious, wicked thought of abducting Sita, I implemented it immediately. Ashubhasya kalaharana, wait, don't implement it. Let us wait for some more time. So many evil thoughts come to us. But just watch, pray to God, and you will find it simply passes. Don't tackle them. Turn to God. So Ramasha gives a beautiful path. The more and more you go towards the west, more and more the east stays behind you. Don't tackle these evil thoughts, wicked thoughts. Fill them with positive thoughts. Then, see, read something. If you don't feel so restless, you can't read something, engage in Karma Yoga. This is one of the finest paths. Swami Virajananda ji, he was such a great tapasvi. He spent so much time in Tapasya in Himalayas, Mayavati, and Shamalatal. We have heard 18, 20 hours he used to be immersed in some kind of a samadhi. He says in his reminiscences, a time comes when you feel dry period comes to you. Swami Yatishwarananda ji, in his famous book, compiled by Swami Bhajanananda ji, Meditation and Spiritual Life, says, in the case of a sadhaka, very often some dry periods come. You don't feel like doing anything. You don't want to meditate, you don't want to sing, you don't want to participate. Something overwhelms you, you feel so dry, you feel so sick of everything. At that moment, Virajanji says, take to the path of active service. Work in the garden, serve some people. Karma Yoga washes you clean. This has been the pronouncement of all the acharyas, including Shankara, including the greatest of Advaita acharyas. Nishkama Karma Yoga is the one and only way for Chitta Shuddhi, for purity of mind. There is no other way prescribed. Once Chitta Shuddhi takes place, there are two paths. Either you can go through the path of bhakti with the Sugana Brahman, or you can pay the way of Jnana, Jnana Nishtha Yogyata, the Jnana Parapakva, then finally Moksha. But Chitta Shuddhi is a preliminary sine qua non for all sadhana. That comes only through Nishkama Karma Yoga. This is the pronouncement of all the acharyas, including Shankara. Read the bhashyas, you will know. Without Chitta Shuddhi, no meditation and japa is possible. That's why Swami Vivekananda, in the present age, where people are restless, work-oriented, gave a beautiful path of Chitta Shuddhi through Karma Yoga, and advising also to combine all the four yogas. So these two verses where Bhagavan promises. So the Vibhishana story, I go back. He was coming to the Akasha Marga. They used to fly, it seems. Rama said, stop. Quickly called a council of war, because he was a democratic king. Everybody said, what should we do now? Should we accept him? Many people so, no, he is a secret spy. He has come to spy upon us. Be very careful. Dangerous fellow. Then finally he turned to Mahavir, Hanuman, Buddhimatam Varishtham, the greatest and the wisest person. Hanuman, what do you say? Famous statement by Hanuman. Even if Ravana comes and asks for refuge, you are bound to give, because that is the vow of an avatara. Then the famous statement in the Ramayana. Sakrideva prapannaya tavasmiti achate abhayam sarva bhutebhyo dadamedad vratam mama. My vrata, my vow, my promise. Even once if somebody says, I am yours, I give them abhaya. Dadami abhayam, this is a very important mantra, even sannyasa. Sarva bhutebhyo abhayam dadami. Bhutebhyo is interpreted in two ways. One is Panchami, one is Shashti. To all beings I give abhaya. From all beings I have abhaya. I need not fear anybody, nobody need to fear me. A sadhaka, a sannyasa need not be feared by anybody. That's why people take refuge in the ashramas, one place where nobody will harm me. Swami Vivekananda wanted to create an ashrama in every village so that people will get peace. Whenever you feel unhappy, come to the ashrama, stay there. You don't have to meditate, you don't have to go to the temple. Move around, do some service. At least take some prasada that will purify you. Ashrama is a place where you escape from the troubles and the tribulations of the modern day world. Abhayam sarva bhutebhyo dadami. And of course, you know the Bhagavan Sri Krishna's promise Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tva sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Ramanujacharya, the famous Vishishtadvaita protagonist and the founder of Vishishtadvaita Sampradaya, he has one Sharanagati Gadyam. Some of these you should read, tears will come to you. He three Gadya, Gadyatrayam it is called, Sharanadi Gadyam, Vaikuntha Gadyam and Sriranga Gadyam. Gadyam is a prose poetry. It is a form of prose, but it's completely poetic. The Sharanadi Gadyam, he says, I am reminding you, O Narayana, Sakrideva Prapannaya Tavasmiti Ajade Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo Dadam Etad Vratam Mama Idi Tavaiva Uktam. Did you not say this when he came as Rama? Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tva Sarvapapebhyo Mokshayishyami Mascha Idi Tavaiva Uktam. Did you not say this when he came as Krishna? We can tell Sri Ramakrishna his promise. You know his promise? Repeatedly is mentioned in a book, Reminiscences of M. Mahendranath Gupta, called a Shrima Darshan in Bengali, several volumes, and it has been translated in English as M, the Apostle and the Evangelist. Several volumes are there, very highly repetitive. One statement of Ramakrishna which you don't find even in the Kathamrita or the Gospel of Lila Prasanga, M repeats it as having heard from Sri Ramakrishna. I will tell you in Bengali and then translate it into English. Tomage kichi korte habe na shudhu ekhankar chinta kar. You don't have to do anything, just think of me. You know, Ramakrishna rarely used the word me and mine, I. I asked him once, I talked to him now and then, imaginary. Why did he avoid the I and mine? Arey, when I came as Sri Krishna, I repeated so much. I, me. I asked the brahmacharis to count. You know, the vibhaktis in Sanskrit, starting from Prasama up to Saptami, I asked them, you count how many times this occurs in the Gita? It is much more than the number of shlokas in the Gita. I, Manmana Bhava, Madhbhakto, Madhyaji, Mam Namaskuru. I. He was talking, Ishvara talking. So Ramakrishna told me, I am tired now. As Krishna, I spoke so much of I. He replaced this by Ekhane. Ekhane means this place. Ekhankar means this place means I. Ekhankar Chintakar. But means think of me. I will replace it me for convenience. Just think of me. You don't have to do anything. Whosoever thinks of me shall inherit my wealth, just like children inherit the father's wealth. And M adds, what is his wealth? Spiritual wealth. Jnana, Bhakti, Viveka, Vairagya, Shanti, Sukha, Prema and Samadhi. Just for the asking it is yours. Of course, you have to prove through succession certificate that you are the heir and you are his son or a daughter. You know where is the succession certificate? It is preserved now in computers in the Veluru Math. Those days in paper form. When you applied for initiation to the Guru, there's a small form you fill up and the Guru signs there. So you can show it to Sara Brother. This is the proof. Witness, the Guru has signed there. I am your daughter, I am your son. Come on, give me. But we can't take so much. Just a little will do. Believe in this. Incarnations come with so much of spiritual wealth. Ramakrishna himself said, all the things I have done is for you. Children are the greatest possessions of parents. They do everything for the children. They build homes, they purchase flats. What for? Only for the children. So all the sadhana, all the samadhi, all the spiritual experiences which he had, all of them is for us, not for anyone else. If you believe this even a little, you can be comfortable. And you can tell him, you can threaten him also, I will not do anything, let me see what happens to me. You promised me, But you should connect yourself with him, otherwise you can't get. Vibrations are everywhere, but unless you connect to it, how can you get it? There is no Wi-Fi, there is no internet. You have to connect. Vibrations there, somebody is speaking to you over the telephone, but you miss it because you can't connect. Just connect him to you a little. That is the mantra. The mantra is a connection between the sadhaka and the Ishtadevata, which the Guru gives you. And Holy Mother Sharada Devi said, these are Siddha mantras. These mantras are potent with power. They have come Sri Ramakrishna himself. Believe this. A person asked Sharada Devi, just like we also ask. We feel we don't ask. So many hundreds our Gurus is initiating. Just come, they sprinkle some water, give a mantra, finished. There you don't meet the Guru any time later, and you don't know what to do, no guidance. Many people ask, what kind of initiation is this? This question was asked to Sharada Devi herself. Mother, can you remember all the names of your disciples? You have taken the responsibility of these disciples, can you remember? Mother shyly said, no, how can I remember? So many people come to me. Is it proper that you do this? You should initiate only as many people as you can actually remember. You know what was Mother's reply? Such an innocence in these people, in Mother, Swamiji, and Ramakrishna. Such innocence. Like a child, Mother said. Sri Ramakrishna instructed me in so many ways. He never told me to restrict the number. When people criticize the mission, many of them, you go on, increase the number, simply you throw some mantra, and no connection with the Guru later on. I tell them, this is the story. And later on he said, this is very powerful. When I gave them the mantra, I have given all that is to be given. Nothing else is necessary. I have given them all that was to be given. Now, if they hold on to this, even with infinitesimally, with faith and with some bhakti, they will get everything through this mantra. So these are matters of faith. They can't argue about it. Why, how, what is the meaning of the mantra, what is Photavada, so many theories of the Bija mantras are there. We are not here for theories. Remember, again I repeat, all of your mumukshus and sadhakas, this space has been created only for such people. It is not theory that we are trying to dole out to you, because so many other scholars are available. How many scholars are available? Why should we do this? We know very, very little of the Shastras. What little we have heard, what little we have thought about, studied, we are trying to give it to you. Like M said, Master Moshe said, I live by the side of an ocean. I keep pitchers of sea water. 1 or 2 spoons only I serve. So this is the promise of the Avatara. Krishna, Rama, and Ramakrishna at this moment. You know what Jesus said? Come unto me, ye that are weary and heavy laden, and I will give thee rest. This is Christ. All the incarnations came to give Abhaya, to promise all of us struggling souls, don't be afraid, I am here. Holy Mother said, যখনই কোনো বিপদে পড়বে মনে রাখবে আমার একজন মা আছে. Whenever you are in difficulty, remember, I have a mother. These are all great statements which give you so much of strength and so much of power. So, manmana bhava madhubhakto vayeva mana adatsva. Now, I will discuss a very important topic in the Gita. You will see the Gita using the word guhya, guhyatara, guhyatama. Guhya means secret. What is secret about it? It is so sacred, extremely precious, to be understood, known only with an elevated mind. And this is to be preserved in the innermost recesses of your heart and mind. not to be thrown out in the marketplace. Guhya is called the Rahasya Vidya in the Upanishad. Upanishad itself means the Rahasya Vidya. Swami Vivekananda broke that Rahasya and gave it to everybody. Rahasya Vidya, he criticizes severely in his talks, the Kalamurral Mora. Why they made it Rahasya Vidya is because if it is given to people who will not be able to understand it, not only the teachings will be distorted, but it will bring harm to the person. Sri Ramakrishna said, for a householder, for a person who is even sannyasins, who are so much obsessed with their body-mind complex, Annagata Prana, he says, in Kali Yuga, man's life depends on food. And therefore, such a person who has Dehatma Buddhi, who thinks the Atman is the Deha, the body, such a person, it is not proper for him to say, Ham Brahmasmi, meditate on the highest truth, I am not the body, I am not the mind, he'll get confused. So many people have been confused with the so-called Advaita teaching when they were not prepared. Swami Vivekananda's grace that he gave it to everybody, and he said, as and when you feel you are prepared, pick it up. But even then, he was very careful to balance it with other teachings. So it's called Rahasya Vidya because it is very carefully given to chosen people, not anybody and everybody. Upanishads later on came to be given to everybody. I understood about why the lower castes were not allowed to study the Vedas, etc. I thought definitely there should have been a reason. So great sages were not discriminatory, and some of the greatest sages were Shudras. Vedavyasa himself came from the fisherman's caste. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Padmanetra Enatvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Vishala Vidhe Buddhe is the author of 18 Puranas, including the Mahapurana, which is Bhagavata. All put together will come to several millions of verses. He was the Rachayita, the author of the Vedanta Sutras. He did not come from the Brahmin caste. So many such instances are there in Tamil literature, the Kannappa Nayanar and so on. They were not against it. They were only afraid these people will misunderstand, harm will come to them. I understood this for a simple incident which I actually witnessed. Again, I refer to Pujya Swami Smarananandaji Maharaj. He became the vice president and went to Ranchi, Morabadi for giving initiation, Diksha. That Swami, being over-enthusiastic to catch number of spiritual aspirants, caught on to all the tribal boys. There is a Charama. What is, they can't even pronounce a single syllable of the mantra. Because they have not been educated, they have been trained at all. He is repeating the mantra, they can't repeat. They completely distorted something they are saying. Again he is repeating, they can't. So for such people who are most primitive in their upbringing, for example, the Narayanpur, in Bastar district in Chhattisgarh, now Chhattisgarh, then Bihar, then Madhya Pradesh. When Ramakrishna Mission went there, the tribals did not know even to wear clothes, men, women, nobody. And the tribal boy, if he is hungry, a rat is going, he'll simply pick it up and eat it. And cockroach was a favorite dish. They take it and crush and eat. Just like animals and cats and dogs. To such people you give the Advaita and Vedas. Not that the Vedas will be polluted, but they will be destroyed, they will be harmed. Don't give them such teachings. You go slowly. So our ancients, out of their infinite compassion, gave them the Puranic stories. Puranic stories have all kinds of things, romance also included. Why is it so? Because people will be attracted by this. Slowly the higher truths are given. If 100 pages you read in the Puranas, there may be one nugget of truth. In the Upanishads, the whole thing is concentrated essence is given to you. Many people cannot digest that concentrated essence. A lot of dilution is required for all of us. So it is not that they were discriminatory, they were against the Shudras. Anybody and everybody should not be given any and every kind of truth. Even now it is true. I told you the story of Nirvedanandaji and Meghnad Saha. You can't teach the highest truth of physics or chemistry to a person who is absolutely illiterate. Educate him first. So here, the Guhya word means Rahasya, secret. In the Gita, so many verses. Paramam Guhyam, extreme secret thing I'm going to tell you. Why? You are my disciple, you are my Sakha, you are my friend, you are so dear to me, and you are so much devoted to me, you have no asuya. I'm constantly speaking about me, I, but you do not think I'm egoistic. You know I am the Avatarana Bhagavan, you have realized it, and you have so much of Shraddha and faith in me, and therefore I am telling you this. Anybody having asuya should not be given all this. Many people not only misunderstand, even now, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, people are writing books against Ramakrishna, against Swami Vivekananda. For Sharada Devi, nobody dare touch. Against Vivekananda, how many writings are coming up? Against Ramakrishna, how many people are writing? Because such people should not be given these teachings. What will they understand? Against Sri Krishna and the Rasa Krida with Gopikas, how many distorted, vulgar versions are coming up? What can we understand? The allegorical significance of the Paramatman playing with the ways Jivatma, that is put in allegorical terms in romantic form so that people will be attracted to it. This is the clever ploy of some of the avatars. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to attract young people. Young people will not come to religion so easily. Magur machere jhol, jyoti meyer kol, bol hari bol. Magur machere jhol means a kind of fish in Bengal. Most the Bengalis will know. They say it is very tasty. I have not tasted. If you prepare a kind of soup out of this, a fish soup, it's so tasty. Come, all the young people, I will feed you with the Magur machere jhol. All the youth used to rush to him. Yuvati Meyer Kol, I'll give you the lap of a young woman. Ah, excellent. What is the condition? Bol, Hari Bol. Because of the power of the Avatara, because of the elevating influence, when they started chanting Harinam, Hari Bol, tears will come down their cheek and they will roll on the ground out of ecstasy. And the tears are the Maguramachar Jhol. I don't know how many of you have tasted your tears. I have not done it myself. Tear, they say, is very salty. Salty? So that is the Maguramachar Jhol. And rolling on the ground, the Prithvi is considered a woman. So you have the Jyoti Meyer Kol Bol Hari Bol. So through a kind of trick, some way, somehow or other, how to draw him to God. I know. People are drawn to Belur Math because all the Ramakrishna Mission centers, Khichuri and Narikal Nadu. In the south, coconut balls. And children are so much fascinated. Hey, one more, come, sit down, chant this, sing this song. If I sing, we'll give two. One more song I should sing. All right, take this. So people have been attracted to religion through some means, through worldly means, which is their liking. You like this? Then come. People have to be slowly taken. This is the method of the Avatara. Upanishads are too harsh. Sometimes I have read the Upanishads very thoroughly and then memorized most of them. I say, why are you so harsh? The rishis were all so powerful. Some of the great realized souls, you should be very careful, don't go near them. Go to the Avatara, they are mild. Don't do, they'll come to us. Sometimes they become extremely strict about certain things, particularly things like the Mundakopanishads, etc. Extremely renunciates alone can digest all that. So they give it slow doses. Girish Chandra Ghosh, you know him? He was a drunkard of the highest order. Then Sri Ramakrishna told him, Arey, what kind of drink you talk about? I will give a special kind of foreign drink, Vileti Maud. And just a small drop will make you so much intoxicated. Girish said, what? There is no brand which I have not tasted. What kind of this? Vishaya madhu tuchholo kamadi kushum chokale mojlo amar manupramora Kamalakanta. So I'll give you the madhu, the intoxication of God's name. All the Vishaya madhu, all the ordinary worldly enjoyments are all pale into insignificance. And Sri Ramakrishna never asked Girish Chandra Ghosh not to drink. Look at the method of the Avatara. You can drink, you are used to it, but offer it to Mother. Mother Kali, you can offer drinks also. That is the easy part of it in Tantras. Kalipada as well as Girish Chandra Ghosh also. You offer it to Mother. Kalipada Ghosh is another person. All Ghoshes are very interesting people. But we have Rakhal Chandra Ghosh also. And then Baburam Ghosh. Kalipada Ghosh, what is that fellow Girish? Amito or Dada, I have done much more. And Girish Chandra Ghosh had a great regret, in his life. If I had known I will get such a guru, I would have done much more. Many things I did not do. So Sri Ramakrishna offered it to Mother. The idea is, once you get connected to the source, immediately the source will pull you. That is the beauty. Somehow or other, even for a second, just connect to the source, connect to God, connect to Atman, connect to Brahman in the Gani's language. Then immediately the Avatara pulls you. But you have to connect. You don't say you also do the connection that he will not. Because if he does the connection for you, you may reject it also. So just connect and then immediately he pulls you. This is the beauty of the Avatara. So just go to him. This is what he says. The Guhya, the secret teaching which I am giving you for you, he calls it secret in the case of Arjuna. Just like Sri Ramakrishna gave Advaita to Narendranath, you will call him silently to his room, close the door, take out a book, Ashtavakra Samhita, from below his pillow, the greatest of Advaita texts. Please read this for me. I will not read this, all blasphemy. Calling myself as God, I am only a servant of God. He was under this terrible spell of Brahma Samaj. Tumi Tribhuvanana Ami Bhikhari Anath Kemone Bolibo Tomai Esho Mama Hridaye Jabe Ke Dinomar. He was under that spell. You are the king of the three worlds. I am a poor beggar in the street. How can I tell you, my Lord, the King of Kings, how can I request you to come and stay in my heart? That Narendra was crying like that with Brahma's spell. Sri Ramakrishna gave him the Advaita. Not for you, please read it for me. Immediately he read it. Till what he read went deep into himself and converted him the paragon of Advaitas and Vedantas. And he exhorted and he declared at the top of his voice, never forget the glory of human nature. Buddhas and Christ are but the waves of the infinite ocean which I am, thumping his chest. Paraphrase from Ashtavakra. Many of Swamiji's writings and speeches all paraphrased from Ashtavakra. Mai anantamaham bodho aschariyam jiva vichaya udyanti ghananti khelanti pravishanti svabhavataha. I am that infinite ocean of consciousness in whom so many jivas and jagats and all the worlds, all the beings arise like waves, stay there for some time, again get absorbed. I am that infinite ocean. Swamiji goes farther and says, Buddhas and Christs are the infinite ocean which I am. You tell Naren, who was the person who sang that song and then cried, I am a poor beggar? And remember, Swamiji came back. I asked Narendranath Swamiji, all that Advaita is all right. Finally, what did you do? Tasmat tvameva sharanam mama dina bandho yasmadaham tu asharano jagadeka gamya. I have nobody. I have no sharana. Please, please. Full cycle it comes. So, have all kinds of bhavas. Don't have only particular bhava of Advaita, Visishta Advaita, Bhakti or Jnana or Karma. Whenever you play with God in different forms. Swami Vivekananda said, what delusion can there be and what confusion can there be when gods are playing with gods? Gods are interacting with gods and gods are talking to gods. Tasya komoha kashoka egatvam anupashyataha. This is the Guhya Vidya he is talking about. We'll continue after the tea and then finish this. Thank you.